So, Duckman, why do you always prefer to upgrade to disc brakes over the stock factory drums on a Volkswagen? Well, this question comes from good old Mike, and if you haven't subscribed to him, you should. You'll even find a video interview with me over on his channel, as well as another one coming up soon, so please check him out and throw him a subscription. Well, before I answer, please tell me what brake configuration you prefer and what you are using down in the comments, and tell me about what you got. Well, let's get going.
It's Ashlyn herself.
Hi.
How's it going there, biker mama?
Going.
You're looking pretty cool on your Honda there.
My Honda CBR 500 Rebel.
CBR, huh?
Well, CBR 500.
Is it a CBR?
Or CMX.
CMX.
CMX, sorry.
Is that right, CMX?
CMX.
I didn't even know it was that.
So I think
That's
it has
fantastic.
a Honda CBR motor on it.
Uh-huh. It's not a CBR engine, I'm sure of that.
I thought that's what they said. I don't know.
A CBR engine's a race engine, but maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
The 2017 model.
It's cool.
I love it.
It's stylish.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice color.
I had a boo-boo in March on it.
You crashed.
Yeah, I kind of took a tumble.
Now we can talk about that later.
I know.
But it's a pretty cool bike. Look at that. It's even cooler that you rode up on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
What, versus the old Chevy Cruze, the Blueberry
Yeah.
that you used to see me drive?
Welcome back to the Monday mail call. But this Monday, there's no mail.
Yay!
I'm the Duckman. And this is
Ashlyn.
Ashlyn. And we're back today to discuss some questions because it is a Q&A video instead. One of the big questions that I keep getting asked in regards to projects that I've been working on is why I always work on the brakes first. Hey, Duckman, you know, why don't you fix other things on the cars instead of doing the brakes? To me, the brakes have always been most important. It doesn't matter if you can go. It does matter tremendously if you can stop. So the brakes have always been one of the first things that I attack, and drum brakes are not my favorite thing by any means at all. So in this video, I'm going to talk about it a little bit. I'm going to use some older footage from some of the older projects I've been working on, as well as the more recent one, where I've been doing some disc brake upgrades with Bea over on her Carmen Ghia, and you'll see more of her coming up this week on Wednesday. Ashlyn, anything you'd like to share?
I do not, right now at least.
She's got nothing to share.
I figured you want tacos.
It's just gonna be tacos tonight. But by the time you guys are watching this, I've already eaten them all. Anyways, licky likey. Don't forget to comment and subscribe and plug that dingle belly so that way you get updates every time I upload a video. Thanks for watching, you guys. We'll be back right after the intro.
This question comes up a lot as I perform many disc brake swaps on my YouTube channels over the years. Every Volkswagen I've ever owned, with one exception, all of them had brand new disc brakes installed by me. The only reason I didn't upgrade the remaining one is because I had a brand new set of drums here ready to go. And they happened to be in a 5-lug pattern, which is exactly what I needed to mount some early wheels on my late model Beetle anyway. So today we're going to cover several points in this video from several different perspectives of what appeared here from Germany and bound to the US market. So I hope this helps to clarify why I feel disc brakes are better. 1. Stopping requirements. Volkswagens are light vehicles. Drum brakes are plenty adequate to get you stopped in mild driving conditions. If Volkswagen didn't think their cars are safe and competitive enough to function on public roads, they probably wouldn't have upgraded to discs from the factory to begin with. Wait a minute, they actually did. In 1966, VW disc brakes first appeared on Type 3 models. In 1967, Volkswagen disc brakes appeared on Beetles and the Carmen Ghia internationally, but not in the US. To me, this is laughable, but in the US it wasn't yet mandatory. This probably was the result of pressure from regulatory commissions, but nonetheless, Volkswagen did in fact come from factory with disc brakes. And 10 years or more before all US auto manufacturers caught up and did the same. Rear brakes, however, are still drums on most modern vehicles, as they were on all vintage Volkswagens. 2. Cost versus annoyance. Some people consider cost and only see dollar signs when considering a disc brake conversion. I see time savings and elimination of such frustration. I enjoy my Volkswagens. I drive my Volkswagens. I want to spend less time getting dirty and maintaining my Volkswagens, and instead behind the steering wheel, I'd rather be enjoying the car for what it is. Disc brakes just require a lot less maintenance. I often found myself adjusting the brake shoes on Ruby the Fastback about once every 2 months when I discovered the brake pedal travel was increasing, which is a sign that drums need an adjustment. These adjustments come automatically to discs per their design. No regular maintenance is required. 3. Safety. Disc brakes will fade less, much less. On a stock Volkswagen Beetle, brake fade is somewhat unheard of unless you're really trying to push the car to its limits in an emergency or with some very spirited driving. But if you are the latter, then you probably shouldn't be in a Volkswagen without sports-oriented modifications like better tires and discs anyway. This is especially true if you've upgraded your engine and you do actually like to drive it fast. And then there comes the topic of rain. Have you ever driven through a puddle and discovered that your drum brakes stop working, or that they require a ton more effort to operate? That's because water gets trapped between the drum and is acting like a lubricant between the shoes and the drum surface. The way drums are designed, they can't shed water easily. Discs have no such problem. Some people may try to tell you that putting discs in the front of a Volkswagen will cause it to spin around under heavy braking because of the rear engine weight and the additional braking power to the front. This has not been my experience. I've driven Ruby, my Type 3 Fastback, the day I brought her home with rear brakes completely failed from the previous owner, with 100% braking up front with discs, and that still did not happen. 4. OEM stock discs versus brake swaps versus aftermarket kits. I separated these into 3 categories. Stock brakes are anything that resembles VW's original disc brake designs. It does not matter whether aftermarket manufactured or OEM parts from the Volkswagen factory. Brake swaps I consider as brakes from other vehicles that were made to fit by way of additional machining or with adapters, such as from a Porsche 944, Subaru, or a Honda Civic. Lastly, aftermarket kits are the big dollar direct bolt-on alternatives such as Bad Series brakes, CSP products, Cool Ride Cool brakes, MP rear discs, or anything that uses Willwood, Brembo, or other brand-named calipers that were custom manufactured to fit directly as a massive improvement in both performance and aesthetics over stock. 5. So, what do you need? The honest answer depends on your preference and requirements. I've found that drums are dirty and difficult to maintain, and always by the time a Volkswagen comes into my possession, these drums are already messed up and need a complete replacement. So I do exactly that, and I replace the entire braking system, lines and everything. Better safe than sorry. So the answer is, stock factory discs is all that most people would need for driving on modern roads, and the cost to replace them over stock drums isn't that much of a difference. But if stock discs work so great, then why did I need the Porsche brakes that I put on Eleanor? No, I didn't need those. The braking performance would probably be better than any of the tires I could possibly put on there, so there won't really be much of a difference. But it was all about the bling. I wanted Porsche and Brembo logos and big, gaudy gold discs to show off at car shows, and that was all. On Gregory the Split bus, however, there's different factors to consider. Drums were all that ever came on that bus, and I did not ever find that adequate. And that's especially true if the bus is weighed down with cargo, people, or pulling a trailer. All split-window bus disc kits are either swaps or aftermarket kits. I just chose to go with whatever I was familiar with and went with the Porsche brake swap to use the extra parts that I already had left over from Eleanor test fitments. The money was already spent, the parts were already here, so it made absolute sense. 6. Do I also need rear disc brakes too? Well, going back to the last question, do you want to perform less maintenance? Then yes. Replace those with some basic aftermarket disc upgrade kits. If you want to get better stopping performance in the rain and never get dirty again until you need to replace the pads, then upgrade them. 7. Cost. In the long run, discs are cheaper, and not just in dollars. With discs, there are less parts to fail, less parts to rust, and very little to maintain. Zero time is spent in adjusting and readjusting. You'll enjoy your car more, and I highly recommend at least a very basic 4-wheel disc brake kit on your air-cooled Volkswagen. So I hope that helps to clarify how I feel on the matter and why I always upgraded my Volkswagens to disc brakes. And of course, long before I ever put them on the road. Brakes are safety equipment and are of the utmost importance to you, your family, and everyone else on the road. This is not a place that you should skimp on costs. So thanks everyone for watching. Please, if always, if you like this video, then give me a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for watching. And we'll be back in the near future putting new rear disc brakes up on B's Carmageia later this week. Thanks again for watching, you guys. We'll see you next time.